Hey guys, this is Kelly with City Slickers Homesteaders. So, I've had the tomato sauce, paste, juice, whatever you want to call it, from our little tomato strainer just sitting in the fridge until I could get a chance to start cooking it down. So this is what we ended up with. It's actually a pretty large bowl. It's one of our biggest glass bowls we have. So I'm going to put it on the stove, let it start cooking down. So let me show you. Just so you can see like how much. Oh, this bowl's really heavy one-handed. So I can show you how much we have in there. So I do have, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that. So on the left side is quarts. So we have, it looks like about maybe 2 quarts of the tomatoes. And actually I have some more tomatoes that are ready. Those are our peas. We got to get those outside. Those grew up pretty good. So I've got some more tomatoes that I'm going to run through the strainer here once I get this a little more cooked down. And then I'll bring you guys back to show you how much we have left once this cooks down. So just kind of wanted to show you guys like how much it reduces to be able to get to more of a sauce consistency. I can't talk this morning. So I will bring you guys back once I get this cooked down a little bit and I get those other tomatoes ran through the little strainer, and we'll see how much we end up getting and see what I can get canned. So I'll bring you guys back. Okay guys, so I did do the few tomatoes we had up there. That other one right there I just picked. So I'm going to let that ripen, but that's all the skins and the cores and stuff. I'll throw that in our little compost pile. But I had this cooking down already for a few hours. So it was at like 3 on this, and it cooked down to probably like 2.5 quarts or around that. So when I added in those 2 more things full, it's pretty much back up just a little under 3. So it added probably about another 1/2 quart or so. So I'm just going to keep letting this cook because it's still pretty thin. But when you're reducing the tomato, you just want to leave the lid off and just basically let it simmer. And it can take hours, so I'll just be patient while this cooks. Got all day long. So once I get this down to more of like a saucy consistency, get a lot of that moisture out of it, I'll bring you guys back when I start to do some seasonings. So I will see you guys in a little while. Okay guys, so this has been simmering now for probably about 4 hours total. It has reduced at least by half. Sorry. It is, so there's 2, so it's at just a little under, it looks like the 1.5 quarts. So it has reduced about half. So I'm probably going to let it simmer for about another hour, and then, which by then, you know, it'll probably be down closer to the 1 quart. And then what I'll do is I'll just add this can in and just season it to make some pasta sauce. Now, this does say that it has some seasonings in it and some citric acid, so I'll just kind of flavor it to taste. I do kind of have like my own little recipe that I used last time we made some pasta and pizza sauce. So I'll kind of go by that, which I'll tell you guys what I'm adding when I do that. But otherwise, I may just go to pressure canning this. Even though the can has citric acid in it, I really don't want to add much more like lemon juice or anything to it. And I don't know what the acidity of these are, so to be on the safe side, since I'm not going to add any lemon juice to it, I'll just pressure can it. I'll double check, but I believe off the top of my head it only takes like 15 minutes to pressure can. So once I get this diluted down a little bit more, I'll add the other can and the seasonings, so when it's time for that, I'll bring you guys back. Hey guys, so I've actually only went about another hour on this, and you can see how much thicker that is. So that is absolutely perfect. So as you can see, it really reduced down a lot. Like, there's not much left compared to when it was up here, and now it's only that deep. So I'm kind of glad I decided to add the can in. So that's what I'm going to add in. So I'm going to pause this for a second, let me pour this in, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, so adding that whole can got this up to just about 4 quarts on the side of my pot. So definitely added a lot more to that. So I'm going to get my spices out and show you what all I'm going to put in. Okay guys, so I'm actually going to use some of my dry herbs. So this is my parsley. So I'm going to do, generally if I'm just doing like one of those cans, I would do like 1.5 tablespoons. But I'll do kind of like almost 2. So, and I didn't grind these up yet, so I'll probably run my immersion blender through this here later. So here's my parsley. I don't know what that big noise was. And then I've got my basil, so it's going to be the same for the basil. Try to crunch that up a little bit there. You know, obviously this isn't going to be precise because I don't have these broken up. They're pretty whole leaves still. So I may have to adjust this later. Like I said, I'll just run my immersion blender through that. So let me get my canning salts. Garlic powder. Get down. Onion powder, and my oregano is still drying, so let me find. I have like a huge spice cabinet, so trying to find these things takes me a little time. So, sorry guys. Should have got these out. That's parsley, the oregano. What is that? No, that's dill. I need to really organize this. If you guys ever want to see me do a video on organizing our pantry or spice cabinet, let me know. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me pause this while I try to find the oregano. Oh wait, is that it? Aha, there it is. Okay. So, let me gather all this. So, like I said, it's just kind of my own little recipe that I've kind of came up with. So that'll be 1.5 tablespoons of the oregano. And And then the same with the salt, which, like I said, I'm using the canning salt since I will be canning this. And then I don't have, oops, any measurements for the onion and garlic, so that's just kind of, you know, more or less to taste. And I like garlic, so a decent amount of garlic in there. May even throw a clove in there, depending on how it tastes. Okay, so I'm going to get this all mixed in. Like I said, I'll run my immersion blender through it here in a little while just to break up all the dried herb leaves that I have in there. But I'll let them sit here and simmer for a while. Get this maybe cooked down a little bit more. Let everything meld together. And then I'll show you when I go to get the immersion blender to get this all put together, do like a little taste test. Still have like some herbs stuck on my spoon. And we'll see if there's anything we need to add to it. So, and this is just going to be just a basic pasta sauce. So I will bring you guys back later. Okay guys, so I've let it cook down, let it simmer for a little bit. Believe it or not, I have it on low and it's still like popping everywhere. So I'm going to use my immersion blender just to break up all those dry herbs that I put in. Just so that way when we're eating it, sorry if it's loud and it's hard to hear me, but just that way when we're eating it, you don't get like a whole basil leaf. So, and make sure when you like are taking this out or anything like that, that you don't turn it on or have it still on when you take it out, because you will splatter yourself, and this stuff is hot. Okay. So I did, after I shut the camera off, I did add just a little more, just kind of like a little pinch of the parsley leaves and a little bit more oregano. And a couple more dashes of the garlic. But I think that's probably all I'll need to add to it. But this is definitely thick enough. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. And then what do I do? Oh, my spoon's back here. Just kind of look through it, make sure there's no like big chunks of herbs in there. You can see the little chunks. May go through it again. Yeah, I think I'll go through it again. Just to make sure we get all of them beat up in there. Should be plenty. Okay, so, but yeah, that's definitely, I think, thick enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to get the canner, ouch, that just splattered me, and that's hot. take this off this burner so it can kind of stop simmering, and get my canner set up, and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay guys, so I've got my pressure canner, I've got the water. So with my Presto canner, there's little notches. So for mine, the instructions say to put it on fill it up with the water to the first notch. And then I've got my little liner in the bottom. And then I have an extra one if I need a second layer, which I might. But you always want to make sure that, kind of put this over here. You always want to check everything, like your seal, make sure that there's no like cracks or any issues with the seal. Making sure that you can see, like you can, through that hole. And you want to be very gentle with it because you don't want to mess up your gauge or anything. But you kind of always want to do just kind of a once over on everything before you even start. So I'll probably just kind of do like a little wipe down of this just to clean it, just because of animal hair and whatnot. And I'm going to actually can these in half pints, but it all will process the same for 15 minutes. And at my altitude, since we're pretty much at sea level, mine will just go up to 10 pounds. So you always want to check to see what your altitude is, because if you're at a higher altitude, it has to be at a higher pressure. So, but with ours, we don't have to. So I'm going to start getting this heated up and get my jars ready and start getting everything, all the sauce ladled into the jars. I'm going to go ahead and heating this up just because the sauce is hot. So that way, as I'm putting the jars in, it'll already be warm. So I will bring you guys back here in a little bit. Okay guys, so I went ahead and filled all these, got them all debubbled. So now I'm just going to wipe the rims. You always want to make sure the rims are nice and clean. And this is also another time where you can feel if there's any type of imperfections or anything along the lid, because if there's any cracks or pieces missing, those obviously aren't going to seal. So you want to make sure you always, if you find that, then get a new jar. So I was going to do these in half pints and then realized I only had basically a case of half pints left. So I went with pints. So which still isn't bad because I've got 3, I still got 8. So that's still good. But like I said, you guys want to make sure you wipe down the rims really good. And since I'm pressure canning them, I left an inch of headspace. So now that I got that, you always want to make sure you always have clean jars, clean rings, clean lids. And the lids only need to be on finger tight. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the burner up so it can start getting up to a boil. So these funky jars were the ones that were gifted to us. So it's the first time I've actually used those since I've washed them. So, and then once I get these in, I'll get the lid on, let it heat up, let it, it'll vent out of this little hole for 10 minutes. Once it's done venting after 10 minutes, I will put the weight on, let it come up, that's hot, to 10 pounds, and pressure can them for 15 minutes. And then once that 15 minutes is over, I'll turn off the heat, let it naturally come down to, come down off of pressure. If you don't, that's when accidents can happen. Plus, there's so many safety mechanisms, you actually can't take the lid off or anything until it comes down to pressure. But even after it's done, I'll take the weight off, let it sit for about 10 more minutes, and then I'll even kind of just crack the lid open, just kind of rest it to where it just slowly will kind of steam out a little bit, just to make sure that it's not a temperature shock, because when you have the temperature shocks, it can either make your jars crack or break, or it can even cause some siphoning. So, and if there's siphoning, then that means that there's food underneath the lid on the rim, and there's a chance that they may not seal right. So you definitely do not want that. So, okay guys, so I know this is only going to be one layer. I usually try to run a full canner, but I don't have anything else to process right now, or necessarily really the time to do anything that would take a longer canning time. So I've got those in, I'll get the lid on, and then I'll show you basically kind of the end process of it when I'm about to take them out. Okay guys, so this processed for 15 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure. Once it was done, I turned off the burner and then let it come down naturally from pressure to 0 and to where this went down. And then I took off the weight, let it sit for another 10 minutes, and then I just cracked the lid. So let me get that off. Oh, that's a little hot. Ouch. So there are my jars. So let me grab my jar lifter here. Oh, sorry. Since that one of my pressure canner's over there, so the lid fell off. Still loving the stand. It's so full of stuff we need to put downstairs and all that, so it's a mess right now. So I've got my towel laid out. Looks like I had either a little bit of boilage or one of them siphoned out. I'm not sure yet. Oh, it looks like it was that one. Yep. So this one we may just have to put in the fridge. It looks like that might have been the only one. Which it happens. Okay, so let me get these out and I'll bring you right back. Okay guys, so I got them all out. So we got 8 of them. So this one back here, that looks like it might have boiled over. That one, I'll just have to keep an eye on that one. So, but as these cool, they'll start pinging and start sealing. And we will get these added to the pantry, but they definitely look really nice. So as you can see, they're still boiling. So they're still cooling off, so they'll start sealing here soon now that I've got them out. And then they just you want to let them sit out for 24 hours undisturbed, just to make sure that it properly seals. And then I'll take the rings off, rinse them off, double check. Oh, there's a pop. Double check my leaker back there, and I may just put that one in the fridge to use next time we make some spaghetti or something with pasta sauce. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, make sure to leave it down in the comments and we'll get back to you. If you like, seeing these type of videos, like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. My next project, when we get enough tomatoes, and I still have another jar of pasta sauce, well, it's just straight tomato sauce, sorry. I'll mix that probably, depending on how many tomatoes we get. Use our little tomato strainer again, and I'll make some pizza sauce, because I love making homemade pizza. Since it's been so hot, I haven't made it in a while, so hopefully here soon I'll be able to get some made, and the kids absolutely love it with the homemade pizza sauce. So I'll show you guys how I make that. So you guys have a great day, and blessed be.